This is the voice of Wayne America.
Lighten up, Francis.
With your host,
Hi-ho, Kermit the Frog here.
Mike Carnes.
How do you measure yourself with other golfers? By height.
Only at WayneAmerica.com.
The supernova's gonna kill us all.
Okay, this guy is the real zero, that's true. Let's just think back when you guys were freshmen, huh?
.com.
Greetings from Wayne America. This is the Voice of Wayne America podcast, and exclusive here at WayneAmerica.com. I'm your host, Mike Carnes, and every week here on the show, we sit down and talk with somebody who has some kind of connection with the best community in all of America, not just Nebraska, but all of America, and that's right here in Wayne America. And we got kind of a special show this week that I'll tell you about here in just a minute. First off, we want to thank our sponsors for the program, including AKA 142 Media. Your business can also be mentioned here, and you can get some more information on that. Give me a call at 402-660 or 660-9682, or you can email me at mike@mikeecproductions.com. You know, every spring, the students at Wayne High School put on a musical, and if you've ever been to one at the lecture hall here at Wayne High School, you know that they put together an amazing show year after year, and this year is no question it's not different. This year, in fact, this might be the best one that I've seen. Got to sit in on a rehearsal the other night, and in the 8 years I've been here, this might be the best one yet. It's the live version of the Disney classic Beauty and the Beast. And if you have children who grew up in the 90s like I do, you know, you probably had every Disney movie that they produced during that time, from Little Mermaid to Aladdin, The Lion King. And, you know, my daughter watched all of those movies, and her favorite movie was Beauty and the Beast, without a doubt. And this year, the high school is putting on a live production of that classic tale. That'll be coming up March 31st through April 2nd here at the high school. And I thought it'd be kind of interesting to kind of do a little something different here on Voice of Wayne America this week. Not only do we have the director, Tracy Anderson, here from Wayne High School to talk with us, we also have some of the cast of the movie who are here with us as well. And we'll talk about the performance and the production that is being put together to bring this classic movie tale to a live setting. And Tracy got to sit in on one of the rehearsals the other night and got to see the production that's going on, and it just blows my mind the amount of work that goes into putting something like this together, and all the bodies that are involved. It seems like about half the student body at Wayne High School is involved in this production. Let's start with how you put this all together in the beginning. What do you do as far as putting a play together, finding the play that you want to do, the process for casting people in certain roles, and some of the stuff that has to go into creating one of these productions?
Well, sure. Every year we kind of sit down, my co-director, Carolyn Harder, who's also with us, and she and we sit down and we talk about the students that we have, the students that we've worked with in the past, the students that we've kind of given roles to as freshmen, as sophomores, that have gotten their feet wet, and where are they at, and then who could fill roles. And so then we start digging through musicals and finding ones that will fit perfectly, the best we can get with the people that we know we have to work with. And I think that's the key to having a really great show is know where your strengths are. And this year we've put this one on the back burner for a long time, just because number one, our stage is quite small, and we've always kind of shied away from it a little bit, but it also is a very large cast, and it's a very diverse cast, and we were just kind of waiting for the right time. And you always have to look at what genre of musical have we done recently. Have we done, live, like real life 1920s? Last year we were Annie Get Your Gun back in the 1800s, and we try to vary that up every year. And so we haven't done a fantasy since Seussical. And so it was time to maybe look at doing a fantasy one, and of course this one came up. We've never done a Disney show before, so this is our first Disney that we've ever done, and it's been a ride, that's for sure. Yeah,
I guess Beauty and the Beast. What is it about this play that made you want to do this production?
Well, the extensive cast of characters, and if anybody's familiar with our department, they know we got some pretty darn talented kids, and it's really important that we try to find places for everybody that we can that has a talent. I mean, we've got kids in here that are just excellent actors. We've got kids that are just phenomenal singers. We've got kids that are great dancers and great teachers of dance, and we've got kids that are great artists. And you try to find a show that's going to fit all of those sectors and really let the kids shine. And you give them the tools. We always tell them, we've given you the tools, now make it your show. And plus, this is one that, is just, it's so iconic that you just naturally gravitate toward it. And I think the public has really embraced it. It's been very fun to watch the kids, from day one. We did auditions before Christmas. We've been with this show since second week of December, really. So
it's not something that you guys just put together on the spur of the moment. I mean, there's a lot of time and effort that goes into putting something like this together, especially a program or a play of this magnitude. It's a long story. There's a lot of moving pieces to the story that make it a rather challenging effort for anybody.
Well, it is, and I'll let Carolyn kind of elaborate on that because there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Carolyn.
Well, yeah, we spend a lot of time. We have pre-production meetings. We have a local gal in town named Jackie Ruzitka, who is our artist in residency, and we have pre-production meetings and decide what we're going to do with the set and how we're going to design that and what all will go into that. Mm-hmm. So that begins even before we cast the show sometimes. Then we have to cast the show, and then we start actually into production. And there's hours and hours and hours that go into painting this or putting that together or building, something out of nothing, really, which is usually what we end up doing. Mm-hmm. The children always kid me because I think there's nothing you can't build out of cardboard and duct tape.
Those are really the only two elements you need to build
absolutely.
anything.
Yes, the world is made of cardboard and duct tape, particularly in the theater because, of course, it's all an illusion.
And one of the neat things about the stage production that I saw right away was the multi-level setup there with the balcony up in the one corner there that part of the movie has to play out in. And it's the first time I saw it, I was like, now how's somebody going to get up there? And then you see them rolling stuff out in between scenes to make that happen. It's amazing how you're able to make something out of nothing.
After so many years of our stage really is very limited, and so you try to find some different way to express the theater, and always levels are very important in theater. Every scene should be a pretty picture, we always say. So with the different levels, you can achieve that. And we can't go out any further, so the only place to go is up.
Goes up, right. And even then you're kind of limited, too.
Yes, we certainly are, for sure.
So I know that's probably the biggest challenge that you have to deal with is just the size of the stage. I think the stage is built in another time in another place, and probably wasn't the idea that a high school drama department would be able to put on, or would even think to put on a show of this magnitude. That's got to be probably one of the biggest challenges that you guys face. What are some of the other challenges you guys have in putting this together?
Well, as you said, we have a tremendous number of students involved. There are over almost 80 students involved in some shape or form. And it is literally only Carolyn and I who are, Mrs. Harder and I, who are it's us. Mm-hmm. And I'm playing the piano and she's directing. And one thing that I pride the kids on a lot is it's very student-led. It's the backstage is student-led. The booth where the kids are running the lights and the sound, student-led. I depend on the experiences that the older students have to pass on to the younger students over the years. And it just is a chain reaction. And every year that cycles through, and we've graduated numerous talented students, and they've passed on their knowledge to the ones younger than them. And it really is one of the treasures of our school, I think, is that we can, with just two of us and a couple extra helpers, especially we've had some wonderful parent helpers this year, yes. And to get set built and things like that. But, when it comes to the evenings, we're pretty much it. And we depend on the students to teach each other dances. We depend on the students to help each other with acting. And it's I don't know. It's a pretty cool thing to watch evolve over the months.
Yeah. So. Just watching what I saw last night was pretty impressive. I know there was one little hiccup in there where some kids were supposed to be on the set that weren't, and
sometimes it takes those hiccups to make everybody realize, oh, we better be where we need to be when it's time. And I think that's all part of it. I think in rehearsals, it's not going to be roses every single time. There's going to be a lot of bumps along the way, but I think it's in those bumps that you totally learn what needs to happen, and everybody pitches in after that. And if you notice, everybody was like, when we finally got rolling with that scene, then the kids really jumped in full blast. So it's just a learning process every time, and we have millions of those bumps along the way. It seems like, so we just roll with it.
Yeah, it seems like, and I just remember from my experiences in play production when I was in high school and college, that there were sometimes there was moments where for whatever reason things weren't where they were supposed to be, and sometimes you have to have those moments to kind of get everybody back in the on the same page and everything.
Yeah.
So I know that the show's coming up here next week, the 31st and April 1st and 2nd. And I understand that tickets for the first two shows are already sold out?
Well, to be honest, I'm not even entirely sure we have tickets left at all. That's why I say that the community response has been phenomenal on this one. And and anytime you do a kids show, you're going to be probably in good shape as far as knowing there's going to be a lot of little ones out in the audience. But these kids are working darn hard to make this a great production, and we hope that as many people can come as we can get in. And I hate to say we're completely sold out, because there's always at the end of when we get started, some people turn tickets in right away at the beginning of the show. They end up not being able to use it. So I hate to say we're completely sold out, because sometimes that doesn't happen. But I have none to hand out I But
okay, can we go on StubHub and find some?
I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be any scalpers on the corner, But I feel like that.
Some guy at the corner by the Dairy Queen saying, "Hey, you need two tickets."
Yeah. I'm not sure we'll advocate for that, but I think we're to that point. I don't know. So
now, have you? I know. I think when we talked in setting this up, talked about maybe doing a fourth show. Is that something still possible?
I called New York today, and that's always something you have to do is check with your licensor, and we'll make that decision here soon, whether that's an option for us or not. I don't think it's not a big hurdle to cross, but when we need to decide whether we're going to cross or not. So
and that's another thing I don't think people realize when you select a show, you have to there's certain hoops that you have to jump through in order to be able to do one of these shows, because these shows are the ownership of the script or the story or whatever is with somebody, and they license those that out to use.
There's lots of T's to cross and lots of I's to dot, and as long as you do it all correctly, it's a pretty smooth process. Yeah. But and the companies that we work with are wonderful, but they're all in New York, so it's interesting to visit with them when I talk to them on the phone.
Yeah, talking with Tracy Anderson and some of the cast and crew here from the movie, or from the play production of the movie Beauty and the Beast here on Voice of Wayne America. I wanted to take a moment to answer a question for you, and that question is, what does the AKA and AKA 142 Media stand for? It stands for many things, but the most important thing is that AKA 142 Media provides awesome kickin' apps that can be downloaded to your smartphone or your tablet, whether it's your school, your favorite youth sports program, or your local business. AKA 142 Media has an awesome kickin' app that they can build to meet your needs. Drop Kevin an email at kevin@aka142.com and tell him that Mike sent you, because he really needs to know that I'm still alive. So that's AKA 142 Media, awesome kickin' apps. We're here on Voice of Wayne America with Tracy Anderson from Wayne High School and some of the cast and crew from the play production of Beauty and the Beast that's going to be going on this next weekend here at Wayne High School on March 31st and April 1st and 2nd. And now we're going to kind of turn things over to some of the students who are part of the cast of the play production here of Beauty and the Beast. And we have Belle and her father, the Beast. We have three of the servants, including Cogsworth, Lumiere, and Mrs. Potts, who I've got a specific question for. But first off, I want to have everybody introduce yourselves, and introduce yourselves with your name and what character you're playing, and just to kind of give everybody a taste of the show, why don't you do it in voice and give it to us that way. So go ahead.
My name is Sam Bruckner, and I play the Beast.
My name is Grace Heitold, and I play Belle.
I am Colton Spa, and I am Cogsworth.
I'm Jack Osnes, and I'm Maurice.
I'm Morgan Bonner, and I play Mrs. Potts.
I am Tanner DeBoer, and I'm Lumiere.
That's just some of the cast that's part of this play production. And my first question is going to be for Morgan, because you spend a lot of time with one arm in the air, because you're a teapot, right?
Yes, right.
So did you have to do a lot of working out to prepare for that role?
I
or?
haven't yet, but I realized today that I'm going to have to.
How difficult is that to remember that you're supposed to be a teapot and you're supposed to keep that arm out while you're delivering your lines or singing the music that you have to sing?
Actually, after going this far in, it's harder to remember when I become human again to put my arm down. It's harder for me to remember that I'm human and I don't have to have my arms up in the air anymore.
Because you're a teapot for most of the productions, right at the end.
For the majority of the play, I am a teapot, and so my arms are always in the air when I'm on stage, and so when I come on as human, I tend to want to put my arms up in the air. But
Yeah. And Tanner, you're another one that I was really impressed with because you not only talk in that accent, but you also sing in it. I mess around with accents all the time, but I've never tried to sing in a certain accent. That had to be kind of that's gonna be a unique challenge for you.
Yeah, it was. After talking in it for a while, singing just became kind of second nature. But Mrs. Anderson, Miss Harder, definitely helped me with it. They both talk in it a lot to me. And after a while, I just kind of picked it up. I just kind of picked it up and ran with it. But yeah, I slip out of it sometimes, but I just try to stay in it. But yeah, it was difficult.
Yeah, and as far as the rest of you guys getting into character, what do you do to prepare to get into character for your role?
Get angry.
Yeah, you really got the challenging role because you got to be a mean person for the majority of the program, and then make that transformation.
Yeah, I've had this talk a lot. It's difficult, but I mean, it's just something that I've learned to work with, and I still haven't perfected it yet. I probably won't perfect it until Friday night. But,
just have it nailed by then. That's
that's the main thing. But it's tough. Yeah.
And then for the rest of you guys, what do you guys do to get ready for your roles?
I did a lot of watching the movie and then watching clips of other people doing it. Otherwise, it was more just finding out how Bella's such an independent character and figuring out how I was going to be able to be that, but also be gentle and sweet and follow all the emotional twists and turns that she takes throughout the whole performance.
Yeah.
Well, I switched my phone to British Siri. And honestly, that did actually help. Hearing it all the time helps you do the accent, but a lot of it is I have to be very stiff. And now that I did get stiff, I have to be loose enough to actually move my arms around.
Uh-huh.
So it's an ongoing kind of trying to find that middle ground where I can be that stiff, uptight character, but not be emotionless and still all the time.
Yeah.
Well, it was hard for me to be Maurice because, you see, he's a really old guy, and
You're not quite there yet.
Yeah, I like to consider myself youthful, but I physically have to move around really, really slow, and also emotionally it's kind of hard for me to have a fatherly instinct. I've never had a daughter.
Right.
I have a dog, and that's about it.
And I've had both a dog and a daughter, and they are two different creatures. Although very similar in certain areas too, but we don't have time to go into that. But talk about the work that goes into this from your guys' perspective. I don't know that Mrs. Anderson and there's the director's side of things but from your side of things with backstage and all that's going on there, how much of a challenge is it for you guys to be able to handle all of that backstage and make sure you know where you're at and where you're supposed to be and make sure everybody else is where they're supposed to be?
Well, we have to try to get people out of the way a lot. There's a lot of time spent where people who aren't here as much as we are, because all of us we have sort of lead roles, so we're here all the time. We have to try to get other kids off the stage when they don't need to be on the stage, and when we're going on, we have to get them to come on with us or they'll miss their entrances, as well as having to worry about our own. And sometimes there's a lot of screwing around backstage. Sometimes we have issues with phones, which we are trying to solve. We have a box that says, put your phone here. And basically, it's a lot of trying to keep ourselves on track while keeping other people on track, too.
It's a love-hate relationship.
I feel like we do a lot of depending on each other. With leadership roles, like making sure scenes are getting figured out. And also, I'm really lucky, like with the cast we have, that it's gotten to the point where we just have to worry about what we're doing. Like we depend on everyone so much that as long as you're taking care of what you need to take care of, it should all run smoothly.
That's got to be a challenge when you're talking about 80 high school kids of varying degrees of age and commitment to the to the total effort there. That's got to be a huge challenge for everybody.
Yeah, it's definitely a leadership thing, and we were just talking a couple of days ago. This group of students here, we're kind of all leaders. In the past few years, there's been just one or two major leaders, and we were talking about how we just kind of all work together to be the group of leaders that we need to be, so that no one person has too much to handle.
Mm. Does the challenge of doing this production, the fact that you guys grew up in an era when this was a big film, I'm assuming that everybody here has watched Beauty and the Beast at one time when you were a kid, when you were younger. How much knowing watching that movie and knowing what you know from that movie, how much did that make this production a little easier than maybe past productions?
I don't think so. I think that honestly, sometimes it's made it a little harder because we have a lot to live up to, and personally, I don't want to disappoint my little cousins who are coming to this show to see me be a talking clock.
Yeah.
I think I think the movie definitely helps us in areas, but you can't really compare it. It's the same story, but the songs are different. There's a bunch of other stuff. And even with the new movie out, it's just a totally different ballgame compared to that. But I think that you'll see a ton of similarities, but you'll see some differences too. And I think it helps us with our characterization, but also it's just, like I said, it's a totally different ballgame.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Has anybody got to see the live movie version yet?
A couple of us have, but not all of us. And I mean, I think one of the biggest problems with more my character, the Beast, is that when you watch the movie, the Beast really never sings much in that movie at all. I mean, he has one part in something there, and that's about it. And so when I try to watch the movie and try and find a characterization in a song, it's not really there. So at first I struggled to find out what to do more with myself and my body, like movements and actions to do in a song. And I looked at the movie and there's nothing there, so it's more trying to base my characterization off of what I see in his acting in general in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess we're getting down kind of down toward the end of the program here on Voice of Wayne America, and I know that the production starts Friday, March 31st. Tell us a little bit about the times and for all the performances.
Well, show times Friday and Saturday night are at 7, usually every year, and then our Sunday matinee is at 2. Doors open 30 minutes prior, and it's general admission. We do not have any assigned seats. So it tends that's we could number the seats and everything, but it makes it much more complicated. And as you say, the theater is just not really designed very well to lend itself really well to those kind of productions. So we've just always left it as general admission. On Sunday, one special thing that's going to be going on is Karen Shart's new culinary arts class that she has begun, and there's some really talented kids in that class. They are going to be hosting a dessert reception, and I believe the Wayne Community Schools Foundation is also sponsoring that event. And so that will be after the production on Sunday, and so it's another way for students to let their integrate something else into the show, and of course with it be our guest kind of as our theme. I think that's pretty cool that they're going to do that on Sunday. So.
Yeah. Well, guys, got any I guess last comments about getting ready for this production and looking forward to what's coming up next week?
I don't think so.
Wow,
I'm excited for 3 full houses.
Yes.
I was afraid I was going to leave 6 actors speechless there. I don't think that's ever happened before.
Maybe Lumiere would like to finish.
Would you like to close the show, Lumiere?
What would you like me to say? Oh yes, be our guest at the performance.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this edition of Voice of Wayne America. I want to thank Tracy Anderson and the cast of Beauty and the Beast, who will be performing at the Wayne High School at the lecture hall Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, March 31st through April 2nd. You can call the school at 375-3150 to see if tickets might still be available, and if there's possibility of a fourth show. We don't know that for sure yet, but keep in touch with the school, and they can kind of keep you updated on that as well. And it's going to be a great production. Like I said, I got to watch some of it, some of the rehearsals the other night, and I know that there's still some kinks that need to be worked out and everything, but it's a great looking performance, you guys, and I wish you all the best of luck. I'd tell you all to break a leg, but I don't know if that's probably a good idea.
Especially with those stairs.
Especially with those stairs. That'd be a bad thing to have happen. So that's going to do it for this edition of Voice of Wayne America. Check back to WayneAmerica.com as we continue to tell the stories of the people who make this the best town in Nebraska and the best town in all of America right here in Wayne America. We'll see you next week.